Welcome to Our Paramotor Nation. Tonight's show is sponsored by Wisconsin Flight Sports. They make it affordable and accessible for you to get your paramotor training. They are stocked with SkyMax Paramotors, one of the best paramotors available, and they are ready to be shipped to you today. Wisconsin Flight Sports has just announced a special class in Gulf Shore, Alabama, February 12th through the 21st. Go to their website for more details. Check out Paraswag USA for your complete powered paragliding gear, Source providing you with the new Rebel 2 RS paramotor, as well as other gear and accessories. JK Custom Carves is a father and daughter run small business taking your vision and immortalizing it forever on wood, plastic, or aluminum. With extremely affordable pricing, this creation makes a great gift and trophy for any paramotor enthusiast. Find JK Custom Carves on Facebook or click on their link on the Our Paramotor Nation website. Take the next big step in your paramotor training at Skylab Paramotor SIV. Here, paramotor pilots of all skill levels will learn collapse recovery and advanced maneuvers. One-Up Adventures and ParamotorProps.com. Come share their passion for flight on adventure trips around the world. Additionally, they are a supplier of carbon fiber propellers in the U.S. at extremely low prices and have become a leader in the country for getting tandem training and exemptions. FlyMyPPG offers a full-service paramotor training experience with 3 on-site instructors and class sizes limited to 6 students, all on a beautiful private 90-acre airport. FlyMyPPG offers on-site lodging and RV camping. Space is limited, so don't wait to make your reservation. And don't miss the upcoming scheduled classes combining the efforts of One-Up Adventures and FlyMyPPG at Wauchula Airport, January 23rd through the 31st, February 20th through the 28th, and March 20th through the 28th. Check out their websites to get your spot before they are filled. More than just soap, Charlie Soap has all-natural laundry detergents and household cleaners like no others. They are a supporter of Resurgence PPG. Get all the natural cleaning supplies you need at charliesoap.com. Celebrating their 10th anniversary, the team at Fly PPG Discovered Power Paragliding has helped people from around the world get into our great sport. They are the Midwest importers and distributors of adventure paramotors, trikes, and wings. Aviator Paramotor is a cornerstone for paramotor training while offering its students some of the top paramotoring equipment. With 2 locations in beautiful Florida, class availability has never been more convenient. With raving reviews, LoneStar Paramotor has become one of the most sought-out paramotor schools in the South, near San Antonio, Texas, offering foot launching and trike training classes and much more. Light up the skies with PPG lights and make one heck of an impression with countless patterns and colors on your paramotor. No aircraft can miss seeing you when you are flying at twilight with PPG lights. Wicked Wings logo can help you have a one-of-a-kind custom glider with one or multiple colors on your logo. Get all the information you need to order your logo today on the Our Paramotor Nation website. That's www.ourparamotornation.com. And while you're there, check out Our Paramotor Nation's upcoming shows, watch our past shows, and visit all of our sponsors and find out much, much more. And now, let's get started with Our Paramotor Nation.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Our Paramotor Nation. I am David Wolf. I'm so glad to have you here. It's been a wild card weekend in the NFL, and so glad you're here. Most of you want to be watching the Browns game, in which the Cleveland Browns are beating the Pittsburgh Steelers after the first quarter, 28-0. But enough about that. We got a great show with Alexis Quintana. She's going to be with us in just a second. I do want to make mention of 2 new sponsors. We introduced the first one last week, Charlie Soap, James Sutherland. We're so grateful that he is now a sponsor. Charlie Soap is a family-owned and operated company. He sent all of our guests last week Charlie Soap supplies, chemicals, cleaning supplies, all natural. We got some laundry powder from him and kitchen and bath spray. So very, very grateful. Thank you so much, James. Also, you may have saw there custom carves, JK Custom Carves. Let's see if I can bring that up there. You might have noticed that in the opening. Here we go. So this is John Adams, and he wanted to sponsor the show as well. These are awesome. As you heard in the opening there, wood, aluminum, plastic. You can get something like this made for yourself or someone that you care about. Very affordable. What a great thing to have. There's Ripman Ryden's right there. Ripman Ryden, are you in the house, Ripman Ryden?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Ripman, it says, I don't break hearts, I break props.
That's the saying.
So very good. Thank you, John Adams. He is a single parent, taking care of his little girl. They do this together. So go ahead and support him. You can find his link to his website on the Our Paramotor Nation website, or search him in Facebook. Another person that's going to be getting one of those JK custom cars is Trike flyer Dave Ruff. Dave, are you here today?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
There you go. You're getting yours this week, right?
Yeah, I just checked tracking on it today, Wednesday. Is when it's supposed to begin it, so we'll have it up on After Dark, and
Awesome.
I'll show it off. I'm super excited. I haven't seen it. I've heard other people have, and
I did get a sneak peek at it today. I will say that, and I loved it.
Awesome.
We Jenny and I both saw it. And we both thought it was awesome. So very excited for you to get that. And then Wednesday night at 9:00 Eastern time on Trike Flyers channel is After Dark. That's fun. You had like 50 some people. It's a growing show. I'm very excited for you with that.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. It's amazing. Couldn't do it without these guys.
You gave away a couple bows. I know Ripman Rydens was so excited with these bows. He's going to be getting one himself, right, Ripa?
That's right.
Yep, we got to talk about what he's going to get, and I'm going to hand deliver it.
Yes.
There you go.
Can't wait.
Alexis Quintana, come on in there, girl. Bring yourself in. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Alexis is making her. Wait, we got to do something real quick. You know, it's kind of dark in the back. So, Alexa, turn on my lights. I'm just wondering how many people watching the show just had their lights turn on. Alexa. So this is Alexis's second go around here on the show. She was on almost a year ago with Ron Torn, LoneStar Paramotor. And we'll talk about Ron here in a little bit. By the way, I did forget to mention too, next week's show is Jerry Delier. A lot of people know Jerry from his YouTube channel. He's been flying for decades. And so he's got some great stories to share with us. But Alexis, I want to talk to you about how you went from student to instructor. But I think it's best to first start with your background and how you got into powered paragliding.
Well, it's an interesting story, actually. So I worked as an accountant in Colorado for an aviation company and decided I didn't really want to grow up yet. So my boyfriend and I, we sold our house and all of our belongings basically and moved into a little cargo van with our dog and traveled around the country in Canada for a summer. Before we left on our van trip, we were doing a lot of YouTube video watching, trying to figure out how to get our van put together. And we came across a van video of this kid who flew these crazy weird things. And so I found Tucker Gott through a van life video. And that's how we first heard of paramotoring. And then we went on our van trip and we thought we wanted to do paramotor training. This was January 2019-ish. And we didn't really want to wait the 12-month wait that we were told it was going to take with the school we called. So changed our mind, picked different things to try out, and went to Oshkosh, the fly-in in July in Wisconsin. And I helped volunteer at one of the aircraft parking areas, which was right underneath where all the paramotors flew in at the ultralight area. And I already thought I wanted to do it, and spending all week watching you all fly around, I was like, yeah, we got to do that. So we left Oshkosh. I called Ron right away to sign up for training. He only had one spot in August, but he had two in September. So we took him and beelined to Texas.
Hold on a second, because I want to go back a little bit before you go further. So first of all, you were in Colorado. Weren't you working at an airport at the time?
Yes.
And you were doing accounting, right?
I was, yes.
So no aviation background to you. It was just, I'm an accountant. Happens to be I'm working at an airport, correct?
Correct.
So at this time, like watching these planes rolling in, rolling out, and I think you had told me it wasn't just one airport, it was multiple airports that you were an accountant for. Any desire to fly at that time?
Oh, yes. Big desire. Cameron, my boyfriend, he was a flight instructor as well. So big desire. So I had the best office view out of anyone, because straight out from my office, I had the runway where I could see all the planes and then the mountains of Colorado behind it. And I definitely had the bug. I found out later that I couldn't get medical to be able to fly those aircraft. So at that point, that's when I realized I had to go the ultralight route. So before we went on the van trip, I thought I was going to do glider plane training and paramotor training, and didn't want to wait the 12 months for paramotoring, so I changed it to glider plane and welding training. But then that all went away, and we ended up doing paramotors anyway.
When you went to Oshkosh, did you have a chance to talk to some of the paramotor pilots that were there?
I didn't at all. That was actually one of the funny things, because when we called Ron to sign up for training, he was like, "Why didn't you were at Oshkosh? Why didn't you come see us?" But the whole time I was basically volunteering there, and I was like, "Okay, this is what I really want to do." And so I was leaving Oshkosh. I was like, "Okay, this is fun. I want to try it." And I wish I had gotten over there. And I thought I would do it this year and check everything out at the ultralight area. And then Oshkosh got canceled. So 2021.
Why did you not, you're traveling around, you don't have any residence in Texas. Why not find a place that was closer to the north where you were? Why call down to Lone Star?
Lives in Texas, and a lot of people, Cameron's family lives in Texas.
Okay.
And a lot of the people who lived in vans or RVs and stuff kind of know that you follow the good weather. So we knew that winter coming, we wanted to head south a little bit. And so it was our trajectory.
Okay. Makes sense. By the way, I do want to mention this. We've got a bunch of shows lined up. They can all be seen on Our Paramotor Nation's website. And one of them coming up on the 14th of February is called Women Who Make an Impact in Paramotoring. And the guest on that show is going to be Allie, Andrea Lee Yancey, as well as Cynthia Lecomte. But it goes without saying that Alexis is one of those ladies as well. You know, we've had a couple ladies in the past few weeks as well, as far as Elena Honeycutt. Certainly a familiar face on our show is that girl who flies down in Florida, you know, all crazy and everything. You know, I think she goes by Fireball. You know, you all know who I'm talking about, but Alexis is definitely making a big impact. So you've called up Ron at this point, and now you say we're coming down in September. Take us from there.
So that was end of July, basically, Oshkosh. We traveled down California on our way to Texas. September 2019 is when we did training, learned to fly. And at that point, it was Ron and another person full-time, and they had two other part-time-ish instructors. And me, with my accounting background, I kind of found a way to wiggle and be like, "Hey, you need some help?" And we just kind of stuck around, and then Ron put us to work.
Really?
Didn't want to leave, we kept flying.
Now, for those who don't know who Ron Torin is owner, founder, and I guess head trainer of LoneStar Paramotor. But Ron, and I'm sure there's been many more instructors that have come through, Ron was the head instructor, I believe, at Aviator, and he actually trained all of the trainers that went through there. And correct me if I'm wrong. That's correct, right?
I don't know if he was head trainer, but he definitely helped them with building the ground school and stuff. And he, at one point, I know that he was going back and forth between Texas and Florida, helping with both their school and his own here. So
yeah, I'm sure Ron is in the chat too, so he can correct me too. so you're there.
So I'm not positive.
So you made your first flight in September of 2019, and then you kind of stuck around, you and Cameron. What was Cameron doing at that point too? Because I'm sure Ron's not going to say, "Okay, hey, you just went through school, let's making trainers." So what were you both doing, and for how long?
Well, when you first start, I was immediately helping with like the accounting, the books and stuff. And the first class was barely a month after we trained. And when you're brand new, you do things like help set up wings and stuff, and you slowly start to get on more. Cameron, with his flight instructor background, he pretty quickly took over like teaching airspace, and he had a lot of great knowledge that applied right away that he could offer. And it was a little bit slower for me to get the credentials and the skills to be valuable teaching, I think, but we got there. You build it, you build it up when you're around it so much. So I think for me, it kind of felt like in the beginning, I got to go through training multiple times. So any of that stuff that's like drinking through a fire hose, because there's a lot of information, a lot of skills. I got it multiple times. I think it kind of helped solidify some of my skills. Mm-hmm. It's kind of cool.
So at this point, you guys are still living out of the van life, which is awesome. A lot of people are enjoying that. I know more people that are planning to get into more and more like that or similar things. you kind of, it sounds like you're taking more of a role of, yes, you're doing some accounting and office work, but at the same time too, you're assisting out there on the field. You're helping to set up gliders. You're helping people learn how to kite the wings. Following about that, something like that?
Absolutely. Yep. And so the better our skills got and the longer we were there, the more we were actually able to help and give insight and instruction. Yeah, because you start as an instructor intern where you're learning how to teach, and then after a while, once you get your skills developed and you can actually impart that value for students, then an instructor at that point.
Okay. So September, how many months go by before you and Ron sit down and say, hey, I'd like to be an instructor here and take on that type of role?
When was that? I think it was about December or January when we talked about that. Ron's in the chat. If he remembers, he can fix that. If I'm wrong. I think
So
that
you
was
feel like it was something around 4 or 5 months have gone by, correct?
something like that, yeah.
Okay. Was this you initiating it, or was this Ron saying, hey, let's step you up into this?
I think a little of both, because I think Ron was excited to have a female help, because that's a cool, different perspective, especially since I'm short and it's a different perspective. So he's been super encouraging at getting me to be more comfortable and impart my wisdom, I guess.
There's nothing wrong with being short. Some of my favorite people are 5 foot or less, like my wife, 4'11". So she sells at 5 foot. But anyways, and those are my favorite people. So with you being so short, this is an interesting thing here. And I think Nick Griffith kind of had a question in regards to this in the chat. One of our previous guests also, and she's going to be a guest on that. I mentioned her name, Cynthia, is going to be a guest as well. Not tall and big of stature. What do you fly that, you're only 5 foot?
So I learned how to fly on a Parajet Maverick Atom 80. And then once I got a handful of flights under my belt, Ron let me start flying his Fly Products Eclipse because it was lighter weight, which was super nice for me. But once I was able to purchase my own motor, I ended up getting a Power to Fly LAF, and it was a custom one that was a smaller hoop frame. And so I've got a 3-blade prop that's only 100 centimeters. And when I was first learning, that made a big difference in my training because it gave me like an extra 8 inches of ground clearance. So that was great. Nowadays, I don't need as much clearance. I'm a little more comfortable with flying. And so I fly the Mavericks again more often and other motors. But having that smaller stature frame was a big deal for me, I think, when I was first starting.
Okay. What about wings? Mark H wants to know what your favorite wing and paramotors are to fly.
Ooh, my favorite wing. That's a hard one. This last endless foot drag, I went to it with a mission to figure out what I wanted my next wing to be. And I think after that, I just left a little bit more confused because I got to try out a bunch, which I loved. My first wing that I purchased was an Ozone Spider.
Nice.
And I've since flown the Scirocco, the new Speedster, a few different size free rides, the APCO F1, a few Gins, a whole bunch. I think my favorites that I've flown so far, though, are the free ride and the Piper ITV.
Interesting. So you feel like you're becoming a connoisseur on gliders then, sounds like.
I don't. No, I feel like it was just recently that I was able to tell enough of a difference that I could start to talk about, oh, this one reacts differently this way. So I'm still trying to get that knowledge under my belt to kind of feel what's different. But
I'd love to have you go head to head with John Ripa on a product.
I was going to say it's probably really hard for you to find a glider small enough for your weight range. There's not too many out there.
Yes, that was a difficult task this time. So there's not many demo wings out there for light people.
Right.
I'm very curious about that F1. We had Jonathan Cohn on a couple months ago from APCO, and he said that thing is just the bomb of bombs to fly. What was your impressions of the F1?
It was actually my least favorite out of all of them. But I only got one flight on it, so I don't think it's fair for me to give a
That's very good to say. Okay, very well said there. All right. Very good. Let's go back to let's talk about you as a student for a second. As you're going through this now, have you taken an SIV course? Are you thinking of taking an SIV course if you haven't?
I am going to be taking an SIV course. I'm sad that I have not yet. So it is very high on my list. That is high goal for 2021.
Okay.
I think it's a super important thing to have under your belt too. And even if you don't want to do any of the acro stuff, you don't want to learn any of that, just figuring out some stall recovery, things like that, is super beneficial in my opinion.
What type of
And it
pilot
seems
have
like
you?
everyone who's talked about going to these, it's customizable. Whatever you want to figure out and learn, they're there to help you do that. So
What type of pilot have you become? Seeing that you get to fly pretty much every day, right? What type of pilot are you? Have you dabbled into acro? Are you deep into acro? I think I saw a video of you flying through just a cloud and getting the
isn't that
swirl.
cool?
I was like, that was a badass picture. I think I
That
got
is
figure
so
out how to
cool.
replicate that.
Yeah, that was awesome. We had some low fog at our airport November, right? Like I was still a fairly new pilot and flying through it. I didn't realize that the fog had done that behind me, but one of the students happened to be catching a video. So I landed and they were like, come look at this. And it was
Uh,
so cool.
and
So I
that
haven't done much acro yet. I've done some of the little stuff, wing overs, asymmetric spirals, but I want to go to an SIV to start stepping up and doing more things like SATs. I want someone in my ear talking me through it, and I'm not going to be taking that on my own.
where do you plan on taking your SIV?
Probably Skylab.
That's good.
I would Lee is my
Heck
my
yeah.
No, I mean, as everybody in this probably is watching the show has heard us talk so much about Skylab. It's such a great experience for all of us. Cool. So now you're doing teaching. What do you enjoy about being an instructor?
Oh, seeing the progression. It's pretty amazing when students on their very first day come and they struggle with kiting, and it's such a basic thing, and they're running all over the place, the wings falling over constantly, to at the end when they're working on touch and goes and stuff, and just getting them all the way through that. You start to get really close to the students because it's one of those high emotional things, and I think being able to get them to that point and make those friends is really wonderful.
Have you had the opportunity? I don't know the dynamics as far as what part you play versus Ron versus Cameron, or if there's another instructor. Have you gotten to be in someone's ear yet, talking them through their first launch and landing?
Not their first one yet. That's
Right.
usually Ron's realm. Cameron's done it a few times,
Okay.
but I tend to wait until they're a little bit more comfortable. That's just where I'm at as an instructor now. I would prefer for me to be more confident walking them through that because things happen really quickly. And that's one reason why I think having the trainer there is super, super important, because you're taking some tasks away from the students and making them able to focus on small things. And as they get more comfortable, you give them more and more to think about and work on. And in that beginning, that very first flight, their nerves are super high and there's a lot going on that currently for me, I'll take them like third flight or later.
I think that answer right there, I don't think you realize how much that spoke to your character. That's a very humbling answer that you just gave. I'm not ready yet. So that's great. That's great that you feel that way. And it shows that you're willing to learn more and more and be more comfortable, and let someone else handle the takeoff and landing the first few times until they're comfortable having you in their ear. This is an interesting question that I was thinking about too. Because this is a male dominant sport, do you have any challenges with guys coming in there for training and giving you the respect that you deserve?
I don't think so. I've not had issues with that at all. I can't think of one student that I didn't like. Everyone's really awesome. And I think throughout the week, you earn their respect a little bit because they see you fly and they learn from you. And each of the instructors has slightly different style and different knowledge and different approach. And I feel like throughout the course of training, the students start to realize who they jive best with instructor wise and who they learn best from. And you just kind of find your fit throughout the week.
The There's a question here from Tony Marzano. You kind of answered it here, but there may be some more you want to add to this. Does she ever get a student that you said before, you watched YouTube? That's how you got turned on to this whole idea. And so a lot of us watch YouTube and we go into it. Maybe we watch videos over and over again, and we learn from YouTube, as a lot of people seem to do, because they want to self-train in that way, and they give it a shot. So some people may come into training thinking they know all this. They've watched the videos hundreds of times. They've studied everything inside and out. Do you ever get a student that thinks that they are better than you, and that they don't have to, they're better than you, and that you have to kind of plant the reality in their heads that they don't know what they don't know?
Not yet, which is good, luckily. That would be a hard thing to navigate, I think. Everyone that we've trained since I've been around is receptive to the knowledge, which is great. And I think we've got a lot to share with them, and they soak it up. I think where that might come in is once they're a handful of flights in and they're feeling confident, like, oh, I got this. And we as instructors have to look at that point and be like, okay, yeah, you're feeling confident, you're doing all right, but you've still got a lot to learn. So maybe add a little bit more caution to your attitude and tone it down a little bit. But I don't know. I don't know if it's a female thing for me, but they're like kids leaving the nest. I worry about everyone because I want everyone to be a wonderful pilot and to love paramotoring and to be safe and all that. But so yeah, I worry more than I think I should. But
we're getting some good questions from the chat here, and I think I failed to mention this earlier. We're giving away something tonight from the chat. Dave is our model tonight, but we are giving away a brand new LoneStar Paramotor ball cap tonight. And with that, because LoneStar also has a lot of things that they sell, one of them is ozone gliders. We're going to be giving away, and it's kind of hard to see, an ozone keychain, bottle opener thing as well. So if you're active in the chat, Dave's been busy putting your name in the chat. Now we'll give that away at the end of the show. In the meantime, over your left shoulder, there's a gentleman sitting behind you. Would he mind just sliding in for this next question real quick? Come on in, Cameron.
Let me go grab him real quick.
Oh, he's not there? I thought he was there.
He's in the other room.
Oh, Cameron, come in. He'll be in a second because there's a question from the chat in regards to Cameron. Uh-oh, this could be bad.
No.
It's not bad. You may have already seen it too. What do you prefer? Do you like to fly trike or foot launching more?
So I started with foot launch. And that's fun. I love it because it's super mobile and I can throw it on the back of our van trailer, whatever we happen to have, and go. But I've started to get more into trike flying recently, which is really awesome too. And I see that more as, well, I enjoy the trike flying, and everyone I hear is like, oh, on the no wind, wet mornings, it's nice to be able to throw the wheels out and roll into the sky rather than run. But I see it as the avenue to be able to take other people up. That's what I'm really looking forward to. I
agree. Mark H wants to know what's the percentage of foot to wheel launching that you have for students, rather. For your students.
A lot more wheel launching recently.
What about students? How many more students than foot launching? What's the ratio that you're teaching?
Recently, it's been kind of half and half. When I first started, it was primarily foot launch, and then we started getting a few trike students, but now a lot of the people that reach out to us inquiring are trikers, which is really cool.
Why do you think that is? More trikers are coming on board now.
We started to get good at it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I know John Ripman Ryden, most people don't know this, he's about to take a foot launching to trike class. He's got a certified instructor with the Aerosports Connection that's going to be teaching him how to fly trike here in just a few weeks.
Ooh. Is this going to be your first instructing?
His life is in my hands.
I can't wait.
Go, John.
We're going to have a little fun, Johnny and I.
I think you're going to be in the front of the.
I
think you're going to be in the front of the trike, and I'm going to be in the back controlling the trike.
Is that happening?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, that's going to be awesome.
We're going to give it a whirl. All right. So here is the question that want to fly.
That's Jim.
Who is that?
Jim.
Oh, you know Jim?
I know Jim. He's from Colorado.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. You know, I think I sent him something from our show a couple weeks ago from our Christmas spectacular. I'm sure I did.
A tandem flight with Travis.
Ah, that's right. That's where we talked. Okay. Who's a better pilot, Alexis or Cameron? That was his question. Oh, you don't like that
Cameron
question.
is, I think.
Cameron is? All right.
Cameron's a better pilot. He's more consistent, I think.
All right. What's your bucket? What do you want to do in the next couple of years here?
For paramotoring specifically, next steps are doing an SIV class and then getting my tandem certification. And then outside of paramotoring, I really hope to do some paragliding and kite surfing.
Oh, I don't think anybody thinks too much about kite surfing so much.
It looks so fun to me. Oh,
Yeah, it does.
yeah.
It's a trap. I did it in Hawaii. It hurt.
It's a young man's sport, Dave.
I was 20 when I did it.
That was a long time.
I got slammed hard.
Into the water?
Yeah. Yeah, I got hit we were up on the North Shore, and waves that day were reporting somewhere around 6-7 feet. So we went out beyond the breakers to go ahead and start kite surfing. I got drug into the breakers, and they were running more like around 7 to 9-ish, and the one that I hit and went off the top of it was 9 foot and got slammed. Not only get slammed in the water, but then I got slammed when the wave hit me too.
So, Alexis, this is a very, very important question.
Okay.
I'm going to take things a little bit more serious here for a second, okay?
Okay.
Who's your favorite paramotor pilot that runs a nonprofit 501c supporting adaptive veterans in our country?
Todd. I love Todd. Todd. Resurgence.
Oh, Todd Scandrette. Yes. Oh, well, that's interesting. Everybody says that same question as well. There you go. I'm off the hook.
Well, it's because he's the best.
He is the best. Old Blue Eyes himself. I think they call him. You talked before about seeing Tucker Gott fly, and that was a similar situation for myself. Who are the other people in the sport that have inspired you besides myself, Dave, and John? Besides those three, who are the other people that have inspired you?
The ladies, I think. The very first female that I saw on video flying was Elena. And I just got excited because it's like, oh, there's another girl out there. The first several months of my flying, I hadn't seen another female paramotor pilot except for online. So Elena was super exciting to see. And then once I saw Leah tearing it up, I was like, yeah, she's where it's at. And since then, I've been able to find the little hidden community of a bunch more ladies, which has been so awesome because there's a lot more of them than I thought there was. And
my gosh,
they're all inspiring.
There's a ton. All you got to do is go to a flying and you see a bunch of them there. And in a lot of cases, they're better pilots than a lot of these guys that show up too. So, and I've always heard too that the females are easier to be instructed than men pilots. Do you ever find that, or is that not the case, or just kind of give and take?
I've had the privilege of being able to help train 3 females so far, and all 3 of them have been absolutely incredible. Some of the coolest, most go get 'em people out there. And besides just the fact that they were awesome, I find that they tend to listen a little bit better and are slower to process and make sure that they're doing what you say. Maybe that's a cautious thing. I'm not exactly sure, but they're pretty good.
I want to turn and talk about somebody else here for a second. And we mentioned his name a couple times, and that's Ron Torin. Okay. Ron's a very special person. My own personal Ron story is I was at the Swanee Fly-In in 2019 and met Ron there, and he noticed that my Adam 80 was missing a tether on the airbox. And, you know, I just met him, didn't know who much about him at the time. And sure enough, he's getting all the tools from different people and strapping this thing on for a perfect stranger like me, which really said a lot about his character. When you see Ron training and bringing these people in, what type of person, what type of individual is this guy? Caring, empathetic, good listener. I mean, obviously his background is in education. He used to be, I believe, an elementary school teacher. What do you see in Ron that makes him unique from other instructors out there?
Everything that you just said. I think he's amazing. When I first did my own training, I was so grateful that Lone Star is where I ended up. So I think Ron is a fantastic communicator, and like you said, he's got the background in education. So it seems like he gets how people think and need to learn, and he's great at figuring out. Okay, this person is not understanding when I say left and right or something, so I'm gonna change my tactic to this. So he's wonderful at adjusting and reaching all kinds of people and communicating to them in the way that works best. And I've really appreciated that as for my own growth.
Yeah. Also I can say this too. Ron has been one of the longest supporters of the show, continues to be, has committed for another year as well. And I'm grateful and that it's not just not an investment that he puts in his own students, but he does this investment in this community because he sees a value in shows like this, the education that it brings out to people that are coming into the sport or have been in the sport, and being able to share, more tenured people's experience with the newer people and keeping everybody safe. So it's a credit to him. Anything else about Lone Star that you think is dynamic or separates Lone Star from other schools that are out there?
I think it's one of the most complete programs that are out there. I mentioned how Cameron has the flight instructor background. He teaches the airspace class. So we make sure that it's not just the skills that you're building and getting those flights under your belt. We want to make sure when students are leaving our school that they have all the practical knowledge to leave and be able to be safe, from assessing weather and sights and airspace, all the regulations. So I think for us personally, we've got a really complete program. You should leave us feeling safe and confident that you know how to fly and you can go on your own and do it. And like I mentioned with Ron being able to reach all the different people and different learning types, I think we've figured out a way to try to make most people who come through successful, which I love. Like I said, I want everyone to love paramotoring as much as I do.
Now, in addition to the initial training, what other training does Lone Star offer?
We do, so the initial training for both Trike and foot launch, but we also do a confidence builder training, which is whether you are already flying a PPG2 level or you've only got a handful of flights under your belt. We've brought people in and helped them refine their skills. There's been a handful of people who left one training school and didn't feel like they got enough to be safe on their own, and so we helped them there. Or someone who's confident pilot, but they're wanting to step it to the next level and start doing little wing overs or foot drags. So anything from beginner to mid-intermediate level. And then we do the trike, foot launch to trike transition training as well.
Tell me about the continuing bond that you've seen so far between you as a trainer and some of your students. And do you have a favorite student that's gone through the program?
Oh, do I have a favorite student? I can't pick just one.
Okay.
I did mention that the ladies were amazing to work with, and I'm biased, but I think those three were some of my favorite just because I got to connect with them in a different way. When you're instructing or at the beginning of class before students are flying on their own, or even when they are flying, the instructors will go up, take flights, check the air. So the students get to see us fly as well as their own instruction. And I think to a certain point, they learn a lot from us as well. And I think some of the girls, Rhonda was our most recent female that went through, and Ron has always said that I do a really good job at my lean backs on my takeoff. Mm-hmm. And Rhonda, she watched me a few times and it got in her head that that's the technique to use. And I was blown away. She watched a few times and she was nailing it. And I was telling her, gosh, it took me like 40 flights to get to that level. And you're on 4, you're nailing it. And that's been really heartwarming for me, because when you have that special connection with a student and they succeed, it's pretty fantastic.
I mean, do a lot of students continue to call you months after training just to chat because they have? Yeah, I think about my own instructor for foot launching, not my trike instructor. I don't really talk to him very much anymore, but my foot launching instructor, Mike Cotter, I feel like he's a big brother to me, that I can just call him anytime. And there's other instructors that I've had that I feel that way, like Travis Burns, who did my tandem, Andy Fuller, who did my SIV. I feel like this, I put my life in your hands, and I'll always have that connection to you. Do you feel
Absolutely.
like those students have those connections back with you, and they call you up just to get some advice and thoughts? And tell me about that.
Absolutely. I think that's a big part of it. It's Paramotoring is not just flying. A big part of it's the community, and having these classes with you where you're learning this stuff. That's probably when it's most emotional, when you first break through and accomplish this thing, and being around these people, you build these super strong connections, and they leave training and they're your friends. So those are the people that when we go somewhere away from home, they're the ones we're visiting to fly with. And it's the top few people on my text messages are past students. They're my friends now.
I talk about LoneStar being a supporter of the show. I'm always grateful when I see people donating in the chat. York Dankies does it quite a bit, and I'm so appreciative. He just donated another $20 to support the show. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. You're getting a lot of great feedback in the chat. I barely look at my chat, and I say this all the time. Sometimes I do a quick glance down just to read a couple quick things very quickly. And I'm seeing a lot of great things. I know Jerry Delier, who I mentioned is going to be our guest next week. He put, Alexis, you're a great addition to the sport. Do you find a lot of people giving you extra compliments? From your charismatic personality, your positive outlook and aura about you. Do you feel like that comes often to you?
Not that I've noticed.
Okay.
I don't tend to be in the spotlight very much. So like this environment, I guess I'm getting it a little bit here, but I don't know. Not everyone loves to hear the pats on their back. And I like to stay in the background a little more often. In this last year with COVID hitting and kind of keeping everyone in the same spot, I kind of feel like I've been hiding out in this little hole in southern central Texas, and not being able to go to all the fly-ins that ended up being canceled. I kind of have my own little world here and hide out, and I don't get to
I
be in
know
this.
I asked you before, I said, what fly-ins are you planning to go to? And you said, well, it depends on the class schedule. That comes first and foremost before I can do anything else. So we're hoping we're going to get you to some of them. A couple other people that just made donations to the show. I had to laugh because I was just talking with Todd Falstad earlier today about the cost of Zoom and trying to give him some suggestions on that. So I told him, I think it's $16 a month is what a Zoom membership or Zoom, the cost of it to the show is 16. So he just donated and covered the cost of Zoom for the next month. Thank you, Todd. John Wayne also donated $10, and Jerry DeLea donated $20, but it's Canadian money. I don't know what the conversion rate on that is. Anybody know? Thank you guys so much for your donations to the show. I so appreciate it. Let's talk about the big elephant of 2020, not the election, but COVID. How has COVID affected training at LoneStar Paramotor?
It definitely affected it. 2020 was supposed to be the exciting year where I was brand new pilot at the end of September 2019, and then we were like, okay, we're geared up, we're confident pilots, let's go to all these fly-ins. And Salton Sea happened, and then and Motown, which we weren't able to go to because we had a class like right during then. And they were like, okay, we're missing those, but everything else afterward, and then everything else afterward canceled. So we didn't get to do as much traveling as we hoped for. And then later in the year, it kind of changed our class structure a little bit. A lot of our students come from out of the area. We get some locals in Texas and then a lot of not locals. And the number of people that were not local decreased a bit just because everyone wasn't traveling as much, and it was a little bit harder to coordinate that. But we saw a lot more local people coming up. The scheduling ended up being a little bit weird sometimes because with people losing jobs or having time off or working from home, they might say, hey, I've got 2 weeks right now. Can I train? And so this summer was super crazy busy because we just did. We basically took on anyone when they were available. So it was basically a nonstop training rather than having like one class each month like we usually would. It was just a student after another, after another, after another. So that it's nice to be back to a little bit more of a traditional schedule for what we set out. But that made it a little bit tiring.
Yeah. I think you may have had a part in, well, sort of helping, I guess, Harley Milne get across the country, didn't you? You weren't a part of that? Okay, never
I
mind.
wasn't, sadly. He came pretty close to where we were, and I was hoping to get to scoot up north a bit and intercept him on his trip. That would have been really cool, but no luck this time. Hopefully he comes visits us on his way back.
Well, I'm sure he's going to try to do that whole trip again. So yeah, he's awesome.
Do you think so? It seemed pretty hard.
It's hardcore for sure. What's the schedule like? I'm gonna ask you this question, then we're gonna get to that wheel. So Dave Ruff, I think we've got 94 people right now currently in the chat. Hopefully you've gotten everybody's name in there. We're gonna spin the wheel here in just a few moments. And if you have any other questions,
I was gonna say I just put in the Atlantic drone, and I'm gonna close the wheel names here in just a second. So if you haven't made a comment up to this point, make a comment.
Okay. And I forgot what I was gonna say. Yeah, we're gonna spin the wheel. Oh, I was gonna ask you what's the, I guess, schedule for Lone Star as far as classes? I mean, is it gonna be each month? Is there a schedule out? Can we find that on the website?
Yes, so I'm working on updating the website. It should be on there. Our next class starts February 6th, and we've got a spot in there for anyone who's ready to jump in. But we usually do a 10-day class every month.
Awesome. Cool. Try not to schedule during bad apples if you guys could. If you have any other questions for Alexis, there's two ways you could do it. Ask a question now in the chat. We'll try to get it in before the top of the hour. Also, after we spin the wheel, I'm going to put the Zoom meeting ID. If you'd like to join us in the after show, you can do that. Mr. Ruff, sir. I've got a hat here, sir, and I've got a keychain bottle opener here. I'd like to give it away. Would you take the wheel, sir?
Yeah, if you just give me 1 second, I'm putting in the last of the names. Comments are closed. I'm going to go through, make sure I don't got any doubles, and then I will be ready.
Okay.
So talk about something for about a minute.
Alexis, who's your favorite YouTuber?
Oh, that's the Trike flyer.
Nation, you mean?
What's that?
Besides Our Paramotor Nation, you mean? I actually
right there. That's fine. That's fine. We're good.
There's a really cool one I found recently. It's called Mustard, and it's kind of like technical. So they've got anything from talking about the trains that are like hover trains to the earliest boat, airplane, and all kinds of stuff. So anyone who's interested in stuff like that will probably find that channel pretty cool. That and Mark Robber are some of my favorites. And basically all the paramotor people. I mean, that's a black hole that's easy to fall into.
Yeah. Now, I asked Ron this question recently. I know enough talking about Ron. I'm sorry, Ron. I know he doesn't watch too much YouTube because he lives it. And you live it too. So do you ever find yourself getting bored of working it and living it and then going home and watching YouTube videos?
Not yet.
Really? Okay.
Not
good.
yet.
I got
not my capacity yet.
Okay. I want to thank another person who just donated, and I'm going to start calling him the unofficial sponsor of the show, and that's Josh Bowden of Nebraska Paramotor. Josh has been making quite a bit of donations lately, and Josh, thank you so much for your donation to the show. Nebraska Paramotor, if you're in the area, go check out Nebraska. I can't really promote him right now, can I? Because we're talking about, no, of course we can. We're all friends. Josh Bowden is awesome. Josh Bowden has won two things recently from Trike Flyer Dave Ruff. He's won a bow, and he's won a sweatshirt. That thing's got more color on it than Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat.
I'll tell you what, you don't need strobe lights. You just need to get in the light. You'll be seen for a mile.
Are you ready to spin this wheel, Mr. Trike?
I am.
All right. I got the bag here. I'm going to start putting an address on here.
All right. There are the names right there. We'll go through them here real quick. I don't know if I still got that ridiculous music on this thing, so if I do, just kind of forgive me with that.
All right. Everybody see their name? If you don't see your name, speak now or forever hold your peace. Alexis, when does the next class start?
February 6th.
All right.
Hey, Dave.
Sure.
David, Josh Perry says everyone should be wearing one of these hats.
Which hats? The brown hats?
No, the one on Dave
Oh,
Ruff's
sorry.
head.
Yeah, right there, man. I support Ron.
Yep. I'll
I
tell you,
love
my
Lone
son
Star.
Brennan. My son Brennan has a lot of hats, and his Lone Star hat is the hat he wears more than any other hat. Always wearing his Lone Star hat.
I actually wore this in Florida a couple weeks ago, and I wore this at the Kyle fly-in when I was there. So, no, I love Lone Star. I need to get down there and come fly with you guys for a day or two. But you guys are like super busy, so I'm afraid that I just kind of be like intruding and bothering you guys.
No, not at all. Come join us. We've got an awesome airfield. I love our field because it's one of those that it's an ultralight airport, so you get a few airplanes there every once in a while. They usually are good at waiting until we can't fly, sun goes down, and that's fun. But we get a bunch of our past students and other people in the community there, and some of the best nights are like a Saturday when there can be like 15 people there sometimes, and it's a part of the both flying and the community, which is awesome.
Nice.
Come
I actually
out.
reached out to Ron a little while ago, but I got an answer to my question, and I've actually been planning on contacting him here in a month or two about getting further education for instructor side. So you guys will probably be seeing me. I'll just have to contact him sometime and see if we can work something out. So
Two things. Mark H wanted everybody to know the Browns are leading at halftime 35-10. Mark H, I respect the chat. And number two, this is the longest spinning wheel, Dave, I have ever seen.
telling you, man.
It's still spinning. It's been like 2 minutes.
Oh, hey, there we go.
Why'd you hit the button? Why'd you hit the button? Is it spinning? Dave.
Yeah, it's spinning.
Okay. Oh, we got it. Okay, here we go. Life Adventures. Life Adventures. Very good. Congratulations, Life Adventures. You have won yourself a LoneStar Paramotor hat and a bottle opener keychain. Very cool. Thank you, Dave, for doing the wheel tonight. We appreciate that. Life Adventures. I think I know who that is. If you could send me an email at davidwolf51@gmail.com, or you can go on to the Our Paramotor Nation website, fill out the contact information at the back, or you can go ahead and just send me a Facebook Messenger. You can do that too. Give me your address. I'll go ahead and get these shipped out to you tomorrow. Any other questions from the chat?
Bly Swamper had asked Alexis if she is from his part of Texas, and I think he said South Texas.
Yeah, so just north of San Antonio.
Hey, you guys are 2.5, 3 hours away from me.
Oh, yeah?
Somewhere.
We're that
Yeah.
close and come visit?
Yeah, I'm in Northeast Texas. Yep.
Yeah, you gotta make a trip down.
Oh, heck yeah.
Or we gotta make a trip to visit you.
Hey, either way, actually, you, your boyfriend, Ron, the whole crew. I've got 15 acres out here and LZ out here. I've got a stocked lake. We can shoot bows. We can shoot guns whenever you guys want.
Sign me up. Yes.
How about farm fresh food?
Yeah. You guys want, hey, we got it.
So the Atlanta drone just put, I want a hat.
Nice. They're on our website.
I was going to say, you can go on the website, you can get a hat. One of my favorite items that as I was telling Alexis before the show started, I will not fly my paramotor foot launching or trike without my retractable what is it called? A tether, my tether. It's a retractable tether. It attaches to the back of my phone. Now, actually, you can get one of these from the dollar store, but actually when you get a tether from Lone Star, it actually comes with this little, like, I don't know, felt that has a little thing that comes out the back, and you could attach it there too. So you don't even need one of these. You got it. Oh, there it is. It's a little thing that comes out the back. It fits in your pocket. You don't even feel it.
That, and when you pull it out, it's not going to break off like your dollar store one.
I threw mine out because I thought I wouldn't use it. Now I regret that I did. So
My mom has one too. She doesn't fly yet, but she uses it for hiking.
there you go.
I just put mine on my my trike.
I did put the meeting ID and password. I hope I put it in correctly into the chat a few minutes ago. So if you want to go ahead and join into the after show, you can go ahead and start logging in now. We'll let you in here in just a few moments. Alexis, any last thoughts? Any last, I guess, your thoughts on teaching? Where do you think this will take you? Do you think you're going to do this for the rest of your life, or other big plans?
I feel like I always kind of unintentionally fall into teaching. Both of my parents are teachers, and it's one of those professions where you're worked really, really hard and you're not compensated for it. So I always thought I'm not going to be a teacher. I'm going to do engineering or accounting or something else. But I've always ended up doing tutoring or something, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of teaching, and I'm loving paramotoring. So it's kind of the perfect fit for me right now.
Nice.
Funny how that all works out.
Isn't it? It was kind of perfect timing for all of us involved. Everything just kind of works out that way.
That's awesome. Dave Ruff, what do you got for us this Wednesday night? We're going to say goodbye to Alexis here in a second. I'm just trying to stall for a second here.
Oh, it's no problem. Well, come join us Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Trike Flyer channel. I've got 3 subjects that I'm kind of looking at right now. So it's going to be 1 of 3. It's going to be kind of a surprise show. I think I'm going to have a couple of the normal Trike Flyer shirts done. So we might do a giveaway on a shirt. I don't know, but if not, we've got stickers around here and all sorts of good stuff. So 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Trike Flyer channel.
There you go, Ripa. You just got done with playing 100 holes of golf, and you can barely stand up straight.
What did you say? Something like 54 holes?
Yeah, I'm good with golf till next year.
God bless, dude.
All right.
Everything hurts.
There you go. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Alexis, you are such a joy to have on the show tonight. Certainly a leader for ladies and an inspiration for ladies getting into paramotoring. Best way, if someone wants to get into paramotoring, maybe there's a lady out there saying, boy, I'd really love to get into it. Maybe I'm a little bit intimidated to get into it, but after hearing you speak tonight, she goes, I'd like to train with this person. Is there a way to get in touch with you? Are you comfortable taking phone calls and answering people's questions?
Absolutely. I would love that. Actually,
You don't have to get your phone number out on the show right now. Mine. You can
I will not. You can find me on like the social media platforms or reach out through LoneStar stuff. But once you get in contact with me, we'll chat. I think one of my new paramotor friends, that's exactly how she found me. She found me on Instagram, and she ended up messaging me a question, and now I consider her a friend, which is awesome. So yeah, reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you and make you excited.
There you go. All right, Alexis, thank you so much. You were wonderful. Hang tight. We're going to go into the after show here in just a second. I see a couple of people are waiting to get in already. Again, next week, guys, we have Jerry Delye, 9:00 Eastern time.
Is that how you say it, Dave? Delye?
Yes.
Not Delaya?
Delye.
Okay.
Delye. It's like he who shall not be named, Del. And yay! The Browns are winning 35-10. Yay! Delye. So I got that in there, didn't I, Alexis?
Dave, I just want to say how proud I am. The stark contrast between pre-show and the actual show of not going, oh my God, they're on!
I broke a couple eardrums in the pre-show. I apologize. And I promised Alexis the football game. Even the Browns scored once. I never brought it up, did I?
Didn't bring it up.
You did, but I didn't.
No, you did in the very beginning.
I did in the beginning. Well, public service. Now, the week after that, I want to say one more thing. I'm not going to go into the February shows, although you can find those already listed on the website. The week after that, we've got, I call him the legend, Alex Ledger, and he's going to be joining us from across the pond. So instead of being at 9:00 Eastern time, it's going to be midnight his time. We're going to come on at 6:00 that time. And I believe the 3 of us guys are all going to be broadcasting live from Wauchula Airport that evening. So I hope it all works. I don't know. It's hit or miss.
We'll have backups. Don't worry.
All right.
I did a live out of Wauchula, so I think we should have signal.
All right. Lastly, we all love Resurgence PPG. Hopefully everybody has supported Resurgence PPG. Prayers to my buddy Todd Scandrett. We're just going to keep him in our prayers. He's got a little procedure coming up, and he's going to come out with it just like he always does, smiling and dialing and profiling. All right. So prayers to you, Todd. You're going to be great. You're going to do fine.
Prayers to you, Todd.
Buddy. Love you. All right, guys. Have a great
Love you, Todd.
Thanks a lot, Alexis.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you all next week. Have a good week. And